But the final nail in the coffin of the idea that Israel is a democracy is proved by the point you've just drawn attention to, that 2 out of the 3 Arab parties contesting the forthcoming Israeli elections have been banned. And between them, they have a substantial number of members of the Israeli parliament. But they're not going to be allowed to stand. Why? Because they profoundly disagree with the Israeli government's policies. That's a very strange definition of democracy. Thank you for your call from Leicester. Let's go back to the comment wall and take an SMS. This one from the UAE, Sophia. Why didn't demonstrations take place in front of Arab embassies? How long are we going to forgive them? At least Israel protects its citizens and knows its responsibilities. We definitely demonstrated against some Arab embassies, Sophia, here in Britain. We've demonstrated against the Israeli embassy, the American embassy, the Egyptian embassy, and on Saturday we'll be demonstrating outside the BBC. We're moving our demonstrations around the people we think need to be demonstrated against. Let's have some in the UAE. That would be a good thing. Thanks, Sophia. Let's take a telephone call. Yes, caller, where are you calling from?
Wiltshire.
Very welcome.
This is Bob Duncan.
Yes, go ahead, Bob.
Sorry, it's the lip sync on the television's a bit confusing when you're watching your face and you're not talking.
Okay.
I think you're doing a great job. Didn't agree with you on Saddam Hussein, but that's water under the bridge. My point is that had America helped the Nazis due to perhaps a German lobby in the USA, as there was quite a bit at the time, and they'd occupied Britain, then we'd have done the same as Hamas. I hope we would. I hope every single man jack of us would have made our own rockets and killed as many Nazis as we could. And so they're only doing what we would have done, I hope. And as far as the Navy's concerned, what I dearly wish that Gordon Brown would have done was to send an aircraft carrier there and fly helicopters in to get the wounded out and threaten Israel with some sort of action if they tried to interfere.
A very good point, Bob. If there was any justice in this world, there would now be a massive airlift of the very best of everything that the Palestinian people don't have or had and have had destroyed in the last 3 or 4 weeks. But there's no such airlift. Convoys like ours, organized by ordinary people, are having to go instead. And the point you make about occupation is undeniable. There would have been some collaborators if Britain had been occupied by the Nazis, even one of them in the Buckingham Palace itself. The City of London would no doubt have turned out offering to sell financial services to the Nazi occupiers, but every decent man jack, as you put it, would have done everything that they could to fight the violent, illegal occupation of our country. Why should we imagine the Palestinian people are any less? Thank you very much for your call. Let's take another phone call. Yes, caller, where are you? Hello.
My name is Sharif. I'm calling from London.
You're welcome.
Hi, you're doing a great job, George.
Thank you, sir.
I discovered from British Gas technical papers that in the year 2000 they undertook exploration of the territorial waters of Gaza and discovered $4 billion worth of natural gas within the territorial waters of Gaza, and Israel is trying to prevent the Palestinians having rights over this natural resource. And so one needs to be aware that there's other factors going on here in that imagine a person stealing stealing money from poor people. The natural gas belong to the Palestinians, yet the Israelis are trying to steal this natural gas and the rights of the Palestinians to this. So I'm writing to British Gas, and I'm also obtaining shares so that I can go to the shareholders' meeting and question the chairman about their ethical policy with regard to their actions with Israel. And I suggest other listeners look into this.
Well, good for you. It would be absolutely illegal, of course, for Israel to put its hands on the gas which belonged in the waters of an occupied territory, and they would not be allowed legally to do so, and British Gas would not be allowed legally to give them money for it. I did say last week, and I say again, if Palestine only had potatoes, that wouldn't stop Israel doing what it does, because the problem for Israel is that a people called the Palestinians exist as a standing reproach to the way in which their state, Israel, came into being. But good for you. Thanks very much for that. Let's go back to the comment wall and take an SMS. This one from Omar in Jordan. Iran should stop trying to make people question and rise up against the respected monarchs of the Arabian countries. This will just complicate the matter and not help the people of Gaza. Egypt, Jordan and Saudi and others are trying to help Palestine. I can only imagine Omar in Jordan is, as we say in London, having a laugh. I can only understand that he's got his tongue firmly in his cheek when he wrote that text. The respected monarchies of the Arab countries. Omar, please. Let's go back to the Commonwealth. Take another SMS. There's nothing more I can say about that. This one is from where? Just waiting for it now. It's Mansour in Nigeria. From today's statement by Obama, I don't think the Palestinians are going to see any difference from Israel's massacre. Well, I don't know what statement that was. I think there will be some difference. That's why Israel did it when it did it and didn't wait until this week to do it. Because over the next 4 years, it will be very, very difficult for Israel to mount such an operation again. But that doesn't mean that they won't continue a process of attrition and siege and starvation of the Palestinian people. And we have to lift that blockade. Let's go back to the telephone lines and take another call. Plenty of calls tonight. Yes, caller, where are you calling from?
Hi, George.
Yes, where are you, sir?
I'm calling from London.
Welcome.
Yeah, George, you're doing a good job. I'll tell you what, one of the things that I just observed is that why is it that the American public are unable to see Press TV? Because if they're able to see Press TV themselves, that would certainly change their opinion within the United States, and that will affect their government as well. Of course, we know this evil man is gone now, George Bush, who obviously supported the Israelis to do this atrocity or commit these atrocities, is gone. But the other thing which I want to say, George, is that it seems to me like these stupid and senseless leaders of Israel, they cannot see beyond now. They have planted evil minds onto the next generation, because what they've done now, it's not going to change anything. It's going to make it worse. And it's a pity that this sort of atrocities can be committed at this particular time, and in this century. And I'm sure everybody's watching, and they should be held accountable for their actions.
Good call. Thank you very much indeed for that. There's absolutely no doubt that there are many people in the United States watching Press TV right now. They're watching on the internet, and I'm not sure they may even be able to get it on other satellite dishes. But one thing's for sure, they will not stop the truth coming out. I'm going to the United States in March and April on a speaking tour from coast to coast, from sea to shining sea, and I intend to do my best to raise my voice against the crimes that have been committed. Thank you very much for that wonderful call. There's much more coming up after this. I'll be bringing you a program called Comment. It's the big conversation. It's the great debate. Looking for your telephone calls, your emails, your SMSs. Make sure your email, your SMS, and above all, your telephone call gets through to me. So join me, 9:36 GMT every week. Comment, Press TV, broadcasting live from central London. You'll enjoy the debate, and that's a promise. And it's a promise I try every week to keep. We need your calls, we need your emails, and we need your SMS. Let's go back to the comment wall and take an SMS now. This one from Joe Borrow in the United Kingdom. When the attack is over and thousands of Gazans are dead, will you visit Israel and salute the military leaders and generally suck up to them? Exactly as you did when you met Saddam Hussein after he gassed thousands of Kurds? Of course not, because they are Jews and you are a racist murderer. You're making a living from Gazan children's blood. Well, why don't you call me up, Joe, and we can have this out man to man over the telephone call. Even better, you could send me your name and address, and I'll get my lawyers to be in touch with you. Don't accuse me of such foul things. You can't justify them. And if you'd like to meet me in court, we could have it out there as well.